Alexander Dumas's Count of Monte Cristo is one of the most incredible adventure tales in the history of literature. The protagonist, Edmond Dantes, is wrongfully imprisoned only to get out and then launch an intricate revenge spree that would make a real housewife blush. But here's the thing, Dumas actually based his Victorian vendetta story on a real person, a shoemaker to be precise. Some of the best literary characters of all time are actually based on real people. F. Scott Fitzgerald's Great Gatsby stemmed from a notorious bootlegger named Max Gerlush. Ian Fleming has listed several inspirations for James Bond, including Saruman himself, Christopher Lee, who was once a real-life spy. And finally, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle often remarked that the real Sherlock Holmes was a boring old Scottish doctor named Bell. So it's not entirely out of the question that Alexander Dumas might base his Edmond Dantes on a real guy, and if that's the case, that guy had a heck of a story to tell. But not all of us are literature professors, so let's refresh our memories on the Count of Monte Cristo. In the 19th century, Frenchman Edmond Dantes is an honest, smart young sailor in love. Unfortunately, he's wrongfully arrested mere hours before his wedding and imprisoned for 14 years. During his time in jail, he finally learns all about the people who had wronged him. He also befriends an elderly inmate who tells him the location of hidden treasure on the Italian island of Monte Cristo. After escaping, Edmund retrieves the treasure, changes his identity, and proceeds to use his newfound wealth and resources to go nuclear on the people who wronged him. Dantes' schemes are elaborate and downright satisfying enough to warrant their own season of Succession. But in the end, Edmund realizes that his quest for revenge has consumed him and affected many innocent people. Eventually, he gives up his vengeful quest, forgives his remaining enemies, and marries his long-lost love. So how does a humble shoemaker inspire all of this? Well, let's see if this sounds familiar. In the 19th century, Frenchman Francois-Pierre Picard is an honest, smart young shoemaker in love. But before he can get married, 3 jealous friends have him wrongfully arrested and imprisoned for 7 years. I mean, calling them friends is a bit of a stretch, but anyway, during his time in jail, Pierre learns all about the people who wronged him. He also befriends an elderly inmate who, upon his death, bequeaths Pierre a treasure he found hidden in the Italian city of Milan. After his release, Pierre retrieves his inheritance, changes his identity, and proceeds to use his newfound wealth and resources to... Okay, so here's where things take a bit of a turn. You see, in the Count of Monte Cristo, Edmund's revenge doesn't actually involve killing anyone, at least not directly, but Pierre took more of a John Wick approach to his problems, murdering one friend outright and burning another's house down to the ground. And if that wasn't enough, Pierre also tricked that guy's daughter into marrying a criminal who Pierre then has arrested, causing his enemy's daughter to die of shock. And by no means does he forgive anyone, even during his deathbed confession to the police. While the endings are a little different, there's no denying the similarity between the two stories. Moreover, we know that Alexander Dumas was aware of Picard's story because he literally told us in his memoirs. In one of his writings, Dumas mentions coming across a memoir written by the Paris police. While combing through the multi-volume book looking for ideas, he came across the story of Pierre Picard. The rest is sweet, vengeful history. As far as changing the ending, it's possible Dumas was simply being a smart marketer. He knew that a happy ending where the main character learns a lesson would sell a heck of a lot better in the 1800s than a story that reads like a less fun version of Kill Bill. And considering people are still adapting the Count of Monte Cristo today, it looks like he made the right call. So hopefully none of you have gone on murdering rampages like Pierre, but tell me about a time in the comments when you got sweet revenge on someone, and make sure you subscribe to History Hobbit so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.